I'm a G, got coding skills. Coding on my mind all through the years. I'm a drink, baby, thinking
It's
about
your boy Sharpshoot
cars.
Gang,
On my
and this
mind,
is
young G,
Deeper Than
tryna
Design.
get more. I'm a G, got coding skills. Coding on my mind all through the years. I'm a drink, baby, thinking about cars. On my mind, young G, tryna get more. I'm a G, got coding skills. Coding on my mind all through the years. I'm a drink.
So, of course, in 1996, the city of Houston, we were introduced to, the classic freestyle, man, June 27th. And not only did this just further solidify the Screwed Up Click and DJ Screw and the influence they had on the city, the bigger that freestyle got as those weeks went on into the holidays, into the July 4ths and all that, that just grew their status, the way they dressed, the influence that they had on the activities they were doing, the way they communicated with the city, not only in person, but over those gray tapes. That really just it solidifies the way that a group of people, regardless of what they do for a living or what they do on a daily basis, can have an influence on individuals that do completely separate things. I was only 6 at that time, so I can't fully say that everybody in the city was gravitating to this, but I know for a fact anyone within hip hop, anybody within just that urban culture, they had to have felt some type of impact, some type of influence, just based off of that classic freestyle circulating the city and becoming an anthem. Honestly, like at this point, I feel like that was just en route to be the anthem for not only for the city, just for our culture in general, because other cities, had big play on it. I saw where, Jermaine Dupri put out that, yeah, that was a crisscross song. And of course, Screw was tapped into all that. He was playing the, stuff out of Cali, stuff out of Atlanta. He was slowing it down, remixing it, taking parts of it, making it loop, having it as an instrumental, and having, the Screwed Up clicking other guys just freestyle over it and make it something for the, so for the home team, for Houston. And I wanted to really celebrate that. I wanted to touch on that for the 30th anniversary of that year of that freestyle. That it's still to this day, bro. Like people singing that freestyle word for word, not just certain parts. Me personally, bro, I know that from beginning to end. Like it's crazy, and that's not even a quick freestyle. That's a 30, 40 minute freestyle from OGs in the game. Some we don't have with us anymore. But to be honest, that status still lives on, bro. It can't be redacted. You can't take that away from the contribution they had on not only hip hop but on fashion, on a culture of people who really looked at the way that they lived, the way that they dressed, the way that they were, and implemented that into their daily routines and became, a part of what they were building, so to say. Not actual team members in the Screwed Up Click or actual affiliates, but just being within the realms and within the talks and within other things and growing stuff, outside of that. That really lifted a lot of things up and started a lot of other branches of fashion ideas and music ideas, bro. So many other people to this day are still screwing music down just based off of what was being built in the early 90s up to 96, 97. Like you can't take that away from them. That was something real pivotal, and I feel like 1996 with that June 27th freestyle for sure is something that might be the biggest staple that we have from that clique, from that crew, from that man DJ Screw at that point in time. So there's actually a couple of things that influenced the direction that I took with this concept, with this idea. Being a DJ, back in 2010, 2011, being fresh out of high school, pursuing being not only a DJ, a music producer, played around with some raps, all kind of stuff. Um, I remember having a Tumblr page, and one of the posts that I reposted was a iconic photo of Screw in his house, where they used to push out the original Gray tapes, and he was just, in his mode, just sitting down. He was on the phone. He had all the things around him that he created with everything that inspired him to, do the things that he did. And I always looked at that photo like, man, like this is probably the most influential DJ to come out of my city. There was no way that I couldn't look at that photo and be inspired to not only continue to go, but also find ways of making my space that I practiced in, that I cooked up in, and making my own. So I remember always wanting to have these classic rap posters up, and have a set of turntables set up, with speakers around, and just have guys come in and just hear me mix, maybe spit some freestyles and stuff. So for sure, that photo always set with me in life. Like, so I had to pull that to figure out a way to incorporate that into a design. Also, shout out to my uncle Kenneth, man. That man has probably the largest VHS collection I know. Yeah, like still to this day, you can go to his house, grab a VHS tape from a holiday, a graduation, a wedding, anything from the 80s, the 90s, all that, and pop them in, and actually go back and see like how was I dressing around this time, or what was my parents putting me, what type of environments was my parents putting me in to get influenced and, see things. And one tape I would always go back to, 4th of July, 1996. And within that video, just looking at not only the haircuts that we had at the time, the shoes that we were wearing at the time, the clothes, how the t-shirts were, how the jeans were starched down and all that. But I promise, man, somewhere within that VHS tape of that holiday, I heard the June 27th freestyle play. And it's crazy, bro, because me being 6 at the time, like I had no idea what was going on. But as years went by, I actually got the influence and the way that freestyle impacted the city. Once I went back, I'm like, man, I ain't know we was playing June 27th. You're like, man, everybody was playing. That was it. That was hot. That's what was it at the time. Like the whole city was on lock with that. And just being able to know stuff like that, and still go back and be reminded of it. I I just kept that, in mind with my concept, and I said, I wanted to do something that was simple, yet something that really touched on what I needed it to touch on. And that's how the design really came about, man. Just taking that photo that's been just living rent free in the back of my head of Screw for the longest, and taking the inspiration of what I saw, what I knew that people were wearing, and it wasn't too many flashy colors and extra large designs. It was more simple. Maybe a black shirt, white print. Uh, you might have a front design, might have a back design. At the end of the day, bro, I wanted to keep it in that field, in that realm, and bring that to my design to give to the world. Every single idea and design that I put out, man, always starts with inspiration from a sneaker. Um, in this case, Nike they've been backtracking, man. They've been giving us all of the classics from the late '80s, early 90s, 2000s, like they just been going back in the vault and they've been pumping out all of those classics that have been heavily loved throughout the years, and they just been, feeding them back to us like they always do. But last year, we got the Air Max up tempos, which of course they on foot now, but something else in 9.6, those fresh waters, those Griffey fresh waters. I saw those were coming back out for 2026. And I said, man, like, I want to do something for those. That's when I got to thinking, man, what else in 9.6 can I play around with? That's when I started to, just go back and stumble upon, like I say, the photo of Screw, the idea of, how SUC was glorified in the city in 9.6. So all of those things just combined together and really just gave me the route that I needed to run to do this drop. But every design, bro, is always based off dedication. Like I honestly feel like I have a dedication brand and not a clothing brand. Of course, everything that I'm offering out is, articles of clothing in a way, but every design, every concept is based off of, the inspiration from the shoe, and then the dedication to the things that revolve around it. Hip hop culture, you got sports, you got the movie, film, like so many different things that these shoes are being displayed in, that all plays an influence on not only our culture but others as well. You can have a random movie and a pair of sneakers or displayed in a scene, and that could make somebody who loves shoes say like, man, like I never really looked at those like that. Now they checking for them. Now they want to know what they are. Where can they get them? What I'm saying, what other colors do they have? Like certain things like that, bro. And I always want to dedicate, my designs, my artwork to showcasing, how can I say, just to showcase the influence that these things can have. It's not exactly a, cut and dry thing when it comes to our culture. A lot of things are hated, a lot of things are loved, but at the end of the day, everything has its own place. Everything has its own, section within our culture that we can grab from other places and just feed off of it. Things grow quicker than they usually fail. And I'm not gonna lie, if you tell me that putting a name on a shoe or putting a collaboration on the shoe isn't something that can take a dead silhouette or a dead brand and boost it up, we must have never seen how Kanye did. We must have never seen what Travis is doing. Amon Minier, Tiana Taylor, like all of these people can literally step up from their craft and step up from the lanes that they are in, be it music, film, dance, all kind of things, being social activists, and they can take these shoes and once it's displayed to the people who care about the shoes, now we start to care about the things they have going on. Now we want to go back and we want to check out the music. Now we want to go and we want to attend the shows. We want to go see the films. We want to be a part of the events. I, Everything always comes back to dedication. The status level has to have some type of dedication given back to it for everybody. For the longest, Houston fashion hasn't been, I don't want to say it hasn't been the highest, representation of fashion, but we've always had more of a simple, approach to a lot of fashion trends and a lot of things that come out of Houston from designers, from brands, from stores and whatnot. A lot of things. I mean, even as you see, like these guys, even back in the '90s, bro, like it was simple, man. Solid color shirts, the graphics weren't heavy and they weren't too large. You know, for the most part, we just found a way to, you know, match from head to toe and be as clean as possible, pretty much. The way that this really represented that was keeping it simple as far as I didn't want to have multiple colors. With that photo, you know, some of the posters in the background and a lot of different things that were going on. It was multiple colors in the photo, but what he had on was just black jeans, a pair of Nikes, black t-shirt. Kept it simple, bro. Like, so I wanted to really add that to the design. I just went with a black shirt. I said, man, I'm gonna just do like a black and white scheme, but within that, I was like, man, I really want to take aspects of gray from the gray tape and you know incorporate some gray in it. So that just wound up being the colors. I feel like that's the colors of the city, bro. Black, white, and gray. Like you you can't go wrong with it. And I mean, you really don't need more than that. This can be worn with so many different things. You don't ever have to worry about, oh man, is this red the same red as the shoe, or does this blue match the blue on my hat? The focus is really just on, you know, stepping out clean. It really doesn't have to get any deeper than that. And once again, it represents Houston deeply to me, just based off of this chess piece with this actual gray tape on it. Of course, you know, I changed some things and had to make it my own, but this is an original gray tape that DJ Screw used to pass out on his own. So I feel like that's a amazing representation of Houston. I don't feel like I had to do any you know large remakes of graphics or blending 5 or 6 different things into one. Nah, bro. I kept it simple, kept it H Town, put a gray tape on here, large back design dedicated to the man himself, DJ Screw, and I feel like that represents Houston to the core. Honestly, both. Honestly, both. I feel like if you're just a sneakerhead and you know you want another graphic T-shirt that you can put on, you know, with a new pair of kicks or you know something that can kind of how could I say stand the test of time and be worn, you know, for years to come. I mean, of course, this would be perfect for you, but also, I mean, if you're a hardcore Houston native and you love wearing pieces that represent not only your city, but they represent DJ Screw, SUC, you know, just that time frame of music for the city. I mean, of course, it's for you as well. So I feel like both, you know, it's no set in stone characteristic to appreciate this shirt or to want to wear this shirt, want to purchase this shirt. At the end of the day, bro, it's all up to, you know, what you want to put on and what you want to represent. You know, nobody's secluded from wearing this. You don't have to be from Houston. You can be from anywhere and still want to showcase and represent and kind of flaunt the fact that you know this is a part of not only music, but this is a part of sneaker culture. This is a part of an era in time that so much influence was made that's still being brought and you know influential on the times that we live in now. So I honestly feel like both. I mean, anybody, there's no limit. Anybody could wear this.